Okay. What's going on, people? It's your boy Brandon Brevon Towns, host of that show called Sports Plus Life. You know we got a lot of stuff to get into today, so just turn it off, turn it all the way off. All right, please allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Brandon Brevon Towns. This is Sports Plus Life, and I wonder how everybody is doing today, especially out there in sports land. How you guys feeling out there in LA or New York or New Orleans or even Memphis? How y'all feeling? But how's everybody doing down in Richmond, VA? It's a nice spring day. Little crisp feel, at least early, 71 degrees. Feels pretty good. Nice spring day. Sun is shining. Birds is chirping and all of that other good stuff. And yes, it is Wednesday, May the 16th. Oh, I'm wrong. May the 15th, 2019. And again, I have some stuff that I need to get into. Today I'm actually going to follow the trend, main topic, draft, then playoffs. Got a little NFL to talk to, not much. But, without further ado, people, let's get to it. We'll change up, just change up. But anyway, yes, first topic of discussion, of course, the lottery for the NBA draft coming up was last night, right before the Western Conference Finals Game 1 between the Golden State Warriors and the Portland Trail Blazers. And all of the talk for the past few days before the draft is who's going to get Zion? Who's going to get Zion? This has got to be the next year to get Zion, or maybe he might end up with Phoenix, or maybe he might end up with Trae Young in Atlanta. And where's Zion going? Who's going to win the Zion Williams sweepstakes? And who's going to hit the lottery and bring the 18-year-old phenom to their city?
More.
Well, here's a name that nobody ever thought about. New Orleans. The Pelicans got the number 1 overall pick. They did. And it's funny to me. It is. It's just funny to me because nobody thought about the New Orleans Pelicans. I mean, motherfucking smoothies for everybody out there in the Big Easy. Of course, we all know that New Orleans was in the dead center of drama last season. Well, I guess this season, their season is over, but with all of the Anthony Davis trade talks, and Anthony Davis is still under contract. So, of course, he wants to be traded, but who knows? Who knows? He may still want to be traded, but bottom line is, if the Pelicans want to see how it looks in person with Anthony Davis and Zion Williamson playing together on the same team, then you just have to tell Anthony Davis, hey, we're going to see how this works. We have till February. We have till the February trade deadline to trade you, and that's if we want to trade you.
Biatch.
Honestly, I'd go a little hardball with it. But be that as it may, I'll give other options as far as Zion Williamson goes in a second. So New Orleans has the number 1 pick. The Memphis Grizzlies have the number 2 pick. The New York Knicks, and boy, are they pissed. God damn it. New York fans are pissed. They got the number 3 pick, and they're really pissed, not because they didn't get the number 1, but because they at least wanted to get the number 2. Because you figure, okay, you don't get Zion Williamson. Hey, well, there's Ja Morant who's still there. The Los Angeles Lakers got number 4. I don't know. I don't know how they pulled that off, but I'm already hearing things now about they should trade that draft pick. And I'm like, whatever. Lakers are proven to be so stupid right now as a franchise being run. Who knows what the hell they're going to do with it. Cleveland has number 5. Phoenix has number 6. Chicago has number 7. Atlanta has number 8. Washington has number 9. And Atlanta also has number 10, the number 10th pick in a trade from Dallas. Okay. All right. pretty cool. So now everybody is saying, what should Zion Williams do? And I'm gonna throw a couple of curveballs in this one, because if you watch the actual draft lottery, and for the first time, you actually had a player who was there. He was at the lottery ceremony, or whatever you want to call it. Like, I've never seen that before. I've never seen a player projected to be drafted be at the lottery show. He couldn't wait till the June 20th draft day. But either way, he didn't look excited at all. Like, when they said New Orleans, he just kind of looked like, damn. He just had a real dry look. He gave the correct commercial answers when they asked him, how do you feel about possibly being a New Orleans Pelican? He was politically correct. And it just seemed kind of awkward, because I don't think that New Orleans, I totally didn't think that New Orleans was on his radar. So it looked kind of uncomfortable for him having to answer questions. Of course, they say Anthony Davis, but everybody knows that Anthony Davis doesn't want to be there. Even with the news breaking last night that New Orleans has gotten the number 1 pick for the draft, Anthony Davis still wants to be traded. He doesn't want to be there, and I think he's burned that bridge damn near to the ground. I mean, come on, the last game of the season, he wore a shirt in the stadium saying, "That's all, folks." Now, honestly, the joke would be on him if New Orleans said, "No, it ain't." Biatch. That would be hilarious to me. But what are the options for the Duke phenom? Well, he does not have an agent. He does not have an agent, and that means in the world of college basketball entering into pro basketball, if you do not have an agent all the way up through the NBA draft, and you get drafted, or you don't like your draft position, or you just flat out just don't want to get drafted, you can return to college. So if Zion Williamson does not have an agent, and I'm pretty sure he has an advisor at least, that we're never going to know about. I'm pretty sure that this stuff is being talked to him now. He would not be the first athlete to do such a thing. It kind of rubs, it'll rub whatever city has that pick the wrong way. Hell, in the 80s, Bo Jackson told the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you guys have the number 1 pick. If you draft me, I'm not going to play for you. Don't waste your draft pick. Tampa Bay drafted him. He did not play. That was in football. Also, John Elway. John Elway was drafted by the Baltimore Colts. He did not want to play for the Colts. He said, I will go be a pitcher for the New York Yankees. And the Colts traded him to the Denver Broncos. The rest is history. Mark Messier in hockey said, I do not want to be drafted by Quebec. I will play for the Canadian national team until I'm drafted somewhere else. Eli Manning was drafted by the San Diego Chargers and said, I am not playing for the Chargers. And I honestly believe he didn't want to play for the Chargers because at that time, Drew Brees was their starting quarterback. Be that as it may, he said, hell no, I won't go. And he didn't. They traded Eli Manning for Phillip Rivers, who were in the same draft class. The rest is history with that too. So, I mean, if you're Zion and you don't want to play for New Orleans, whether you like the market or whatever, he has an option. He can either go back to school. I would talk to him. I'd be like, if I was just a random person, hi, Zion Williamson, how you doing? Okay, Zion Williamson, this is what your options are. Would you like to, you can go back to school. You can return to school for your sophomore season. But you're just seeing dollar signs. So you want to return to school? Nah, I didn't think you did, Zion Williamson. Okay, so next option, you could go play overseas. You can go play overseas, keep getting your skills tuned up, keep in shape, and you'd make a couple $1 million playing for a season overseas. You want to do that, Zion Williamson? Or there's the option of totally sitting out next season and just working out, playing a couple pickup games, make sure you don't get hurt, and then re-enter in the 2020 NBA draft. Those are your options, kiddo. Those are your options. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if New Orleans drafts him, they ain't trading him. This is not going to happen, especially if your bell cow star and Anthony Davis wants out, you ain't trading Zion Williamson. And then also, just heard today, Drew Holiday wants out now. I mean, what a slap in the face to New Orleans. If I was living in New Orleans, I would really feel some type of way. I would feel some type of way to the players who want out. I would feel some type of way to the reporters who are saying, hey, maybe Zion should do this, maybe should do that. I mean, and I know I just did it. Not a professional reporter, though. But if I was New Orleans, I would be like, man, fuck y'all.
Biatch.
Fuck all y'all. I mean, like, what is so bad about the NO other than the fact that the name of the stadium sucks? The Smoothie King Arena, that, you know, that's a turnoff. But what is so bad about New Orleans? I think right after it was announced that New Orleans was going to be the number 1 pick, you know, Sean Payton sent a tweet and a text to Zion Williamson. I mean, you're going to have these Saints players reaching out to him. If I was all the New Orleans rappers who were big time, if I was Master P or Lil Wayne or Baby or Juvenile, even Silk the Shocker, I would reach out to this guy and be like, hey, dude, what's up? Mystical, you know, what's up? What's wrong with us? What's wrong with us? Or they can go gangster style. You gonna play for us, so we gonna fuck your ass up. No, I mean, but serious. You know, they doing New Orleans real dirty. And if you're a Knicks fan, it's not the end of the world as long as you get KD and Kyrie or KD and somebody during the offseason. Or you could play it this way. You have the number 3 pick. Why don't you trade the number 3 pick? Why don't you trade the number 3 pick, maybe a couple of players to New Orleans for Anthony Davis? And then you can draft, if you're New Orleans, you take that pick and say, oh, thank you, New York Knicks. Okay, we now have the number 1 pick and the number 3 pick. So we can draft Zion number 1 and then number 3, take his best friend, RJ Barrett, who I believe is completely overrated, and I'll get into that in a second. And so, I mean, you still have options if you're the Knicks. I mean, I think that the crying and all of that other stuff that's going on is just completely unnecessary. That's just overdramatic overkill. You know, you're doing too much. Oh, we want to Zion. Look, I'm going to say this again. Y'all killing me with this. Which rounds to my next topic. I don't think Zion Williamson is this transcendent player that everybody else makes him out to be. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. Is he the most exciting player? Was he the most exciting player in college basketball this past season? Yes. Did he jump the highest and have the most highlights? Yes.
More.
But is he a player that I believe is the centerpiece to a championship team in the NBA? No. I don't see it. For one, I've said this before too. He's only 18 years old, and he's 285 pounds. He hasn't even matured into his full body yet, meaning at 6'6", there could be a strong possibility, especially if he starts living his best life, that in 10 years, he could be fat. And that would just be at 28 years old. Do y'all remember what Shawn Kemp looked like at the age of 30? And Shawn Kemp could jump out of the gym, and he was 6'10".
Oh, your fat ass don't come on my house no more.
All what I'm trying to say is, what I see happening with Zion Williamson, and honestly, I hope I'm wrong. I don't wish nothing bad. I hope he's worth all the hype, because I mean, you ain't had this much hype on a player coming into the NBA draft since LeBron James. All I'm saying is, I would not be surprised at all is if Zion Williamson, by the age of 29, 30, turned into Zach Randolph. That's all I'm trying to say. And as far as his game goes, like I said, he has a great motor. He leaves it out on the floor. But do I see him as a centerpiece to a championship team? I do not. I don't. And if it honestly, and I'm just speaking for me, and if you listen to this, you can tell me I'm crazy. I don't care, because this is my opinion and you have yours. I would not even draft Zion Williamson number 1. Now, for box office purposes, because he's been a walking highlight, and you can thank ESPN and FS1 and the media and YouTube and all of these highlight tapes that they've put together for box office purposes. Okay, yes, absolutely. But if you're talking about the best complete player, the most complete player, I'm not picking him number one. I'm not. And people may call me a homer for this, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm picking DeAndre Hunter from UVA. You're damn right. And not because he's a Cavalier. I'm looking at all of his attributes. DeAndre Hunter, is he the highlight reel that Zion Williamson is? Not at all. But what he is 6'7". He can play either the 3 or the 4. He has a 7'4" wingspan. Okay, he was all ACC as a freshman. All ACC as a freshman in 2018. He was ACC Defensive Player of the Year, mind you, in the toughest college basketball conference in the country. He was ACC Defensive Player of the Year this year. He has an inside and outside game, and he's a champion. He's more experienced. He's clutch. I'm not saying Zion isn't clutch, but as far as a better all-around player, I would take DeAndre Hunter.
Biatch.
6'7", 7'4" wingspan, Defensive Player of the Year, has an inside-outside game, can shoot the three-point shot consistently, and is battle-tested. That's who I'm taking. DeAndre Hunter has Pascal Siakam mixed with Kawhi Leonard written all over him, even in the mannerism, because he's just chill. But he goes out and he lays it on the floor. That's who I'm picking, number one. You know, that's just my opinion. Now, like I said, as far as the box office, because of all the hype he's gotten, I mean, you've put whatever team, you've put the New Orleans Pelicans into a position where if you don't take him number one, you'd be seen as a damn fool. And if I was the GM, I would just have to look like that damn fool. I'm like, yeah, well, this guy, I can look at this guy's high-flying abilities, but what about his all-around game? So, and the Lakers got number 4. God, I hope they don't end up taking. If any person affiliated with the Laker organization is listening to this, take DeAndre Hunter at number 4. Don't trade the pick. Take DeAndre Hunter. Take him. Don't get R.J. Barrett. Please, God, don't get R.J. Barrett. R.J. Barrett's aight, but please, he's a ball hog. Don't get R.J. Barrett. Don't get the kid from Vanderbilt. No. Get DeAndre Hunter. He's a two-way player. Okay. So, now that I've talked about the draft, allow me to go to the Western Conference Finals. Well, talk about the conference finals in general. First of all, since the last time we talked, there were a couple of Game 7s. The Portland Trail Blazers came from behind to beat the Denver Nuggets in Denver. Which really surprised me because I thought the Nuggets had that one in the bizag. And in an epic game, the Toronto Raptors beat the Philadelphia 76ers at the buzzer.
You got to be aware of the inbounder here if you're Philly.
It's off to Leonard, defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger? Fourth-quarter points by Kawhi Leonard. And the game winner, 41 points.
I mean, what a absolute gut-wrenching way to lose a game for your season to end. Oh, man, Joel Embiid was in tears. His face is going to be an emoji now. It's going to be a crying emoji. I hope everybody knows that. But I was watching that game, and Jimmy Butler had just tied the game, and I was like, oh, look like they might go to overtime. And when Kawhi faded away with that shot, it hit the front of the rim. And I was like, okay, all right, they going to overtime. And then I saw that jump bounce like 4 more times, and I'm like, oh, snap. It went in. Wow. I mean, I felt bad for the Sixers, but they should be proud of themselves. They left it all on the line. But what they need to go back and look at is the last 2 minutes of that game when it was tied up at 85, and they had absolutely zero offensive execution. They should be proud of their effort. They should be proud of their efforts, but they have to work on their execution. Now, their coach, Brett Brown, was already told that he will be back for next season. It's 2 things that you have to do, and I'm pretty sure people have heard it already. But this is just from my perspective. If Brett Brown doesn't tell Joel Embiid, get your big ass in that paint. Get your big ass in that paint and cause some havoc. I am so sick and tired of seeing that 7'2", 285-pound monster behind the damn 3-point line. You are a center. You have the most skills of any center in the league. Get your big ass in the paint and don't fucking move. At least if we're in a tight game in the last 2 minutes and we're trying to run an offense, Philly's offense looked pathetic for 3 straight possessions. And where's Embiid? Behind the 3-point line. Number 2, Ben Simmons, if you don't lock your punk ass in a gym, and I'm a fan of Ben Simmons, so I say that with all due respect, but if you don't lock yourself in the gym and start shooting jumpers that's beyond the free throw line, how the hell do you want to be a point guard and you can't shoot? That doesn't go together. How the hell are you going to be a point guard and you won't take a shot beyond the damn free throw line? You know what? You're 6'10". You want to be a point guard. You better learn to shoot, or I'm going to have your high yellow ass in the paint playing power forward. Since that's where you want to shoot from, that's what I would tell Ben Simmons. And I mean, you better lock yourself in the gym starting on Monday, god damn it. Get a week's break, and then you go into summer school. That's what, I mean, I'm serious. And then do everything you can to keep Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris. They're saying they can't keep them both. I think something could be worked out. Jimmy Butler proved his worth during this playoff run. All of the negative stuff said about Jimmy Butler needs to go out the window. But be that as it may, it brings to game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, which starts tonight between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Toronto Raptors. So chalk walked in the East. I'm gonna be honest with you, I see Milwaukee winning this in 5. The Toronto Raptors showed an incredible weakness coming down the stretch of Game 7 against the Philadelphia 76ers. Nobody wanted to shoot the ball except for Kawhi Leonard. And they had open shots that they passed up. Kyle Lowry, you've been here before. Marc Gasol, you've been here before. Serge Ibaka was big time. I can't say anything about Serge Ibaka. He had 17 points. He was big time. He was money. But you have players on that Raptors team that's been there before. Why did Kawhi Leonard have to shoot the ball 39 times to get 41 points? You know, especially in the clutch. Because nobody wanted the ball? Really? That's crazy. So if you're going to play like that against the Milwaukee Bucks, you're going out in 5. You might mess around and get swept. God damn! Bucks are dangerous, y'all. I'm picking the Milwaukee Bucks in 5 games. Gentlemen sweep. I am. And the Western Conference Finals has already started. It started last night after the NBA lottery show, the Golden State Warriors and the Portland Trail Blazers. I saw this as a heavyweight fight of NBA backcourts. You know, you have your number 1 contenders in Dame Dollar and CJ McCollum going up against the reigning defending champions, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Well, round 1 went to Steph and Klay. They beat the Blazers by 22 points. They defensively locked down Dame and CJ. They said everybody else is going to beat us. Not going to be you two. And in the meantime, Steph, 36 points, 9 threes. Klay, 26 points, outstanding defense. Everybody keeps saying that Golden State can't do this and Golden State can't do that without Kevin Durant. I wish y'all would just really stop. Stop acting like this team wasn't already great before he got here. Now, I will say this on the flip side. If Golden State doesn't win the championship and Kevin Durant doesn't come back, then that makes Kevin Durant look really good. If he does not come back for the playoffs, which they're saying there's a possibility he could be back by game 3 of this series. But if he doesn't come back and the Warriors don't win the championship, KD looks great. He does. KD looks very good. But if the Warriors win the title without Kevin Durant, especially if they beat a loaded Milwaukee Bucks team, who will have home court advantage, by the way, oh, KD looked bad. No! I mean, not to the point of, ashamed, because in the previous 2 finals, he's been the best player on the court. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. He has outdueled LeBron and just took it right to him and earned those finals MVPs. But this is just the Golden State Warriors saying, do y'all remember who the fuck we are? Biatch. 2 years before Kevin Durant got there, they were NBA champions the season before, a record-setting regular season, 73-9. And the NBA had to give the Cleveland Cavaliers a tax break, a stimulus package by suspending Draymond Green. Otherwise, the Warriors would have repeated. Bullshit! Y'all must have forgot who that team is. And they're showing it. And this weak bench, wow. Funny how when you get playing time, how you can actually get production. I mean, far be it from me to think that if you're sitting on the bench and you have a uniform on, that you still qualify as an NBA player. I mean, you would think that the way that the media has talked about the Warriors bench and the amount of minutes that Steve Kerr was giving his starters, you would have thought that outside of Shaun Livingston, it was a bench full of G League players. Oh, but see what happens when you have to utilize all of your assets? Sometimes it can work out in your favor. And Golden State is going to win this series. Make no mistake about it. Golden State is going to win this series in 5 games, maybe 6. But they're going to win, with or without Kevin Durant. Period. So, that's my stance on the conference finals. And quickly, I'd like to address some NF of the L issues. Breaking news today, the New York Jets, and this is crazy. Like, the New York Jets just fired their GM. The New York Jets just fired their general manager. And if I'm not mistaken, their vice president of football operations. They fired their general manager, Mike McCagnon. And right now, the interim GM will be the new head coach, Adam Gase, who hasn't even coached a down yet for the New York Jets. And it's because I'm like, it's weird because, okay, you've gone through the offseason. You're almost time for OTAs and, voluntary workouts. You just had rookie minicamp. And you go through the draft. You go through free agency. You draft your players. You bring on Le'Veon Bell. Why do you fire this guy now? Like, that just seems crazy. It doesn't. I'm pretty sure it's not football related. But what I have read is that one of the disputes that Adam Gase and McCagnon had was the amount of money paid to Le'Veon Bell. Even though Adam Gase has said all of the right things about Le'Veon Bell publicly, behind closed doors, apparently there is an issue with Le'Veon Bell's contract. Hey, I mean, if you want to try to protect your young quarterback, you're getting a bell cow running back who's coming off of a year off, not because of injury. So I think the signing of Le'Veon Bell was smart. The Jets have done very well this offseason, actually. And this is just weird. This is strange. And, just whenever you think there's no drama in New York, here come the Jets and the Giants. Oh, Lord. New York has been, for the last month, New York has just been one sports drama. First is Gettleman. Then it's all, are we going to get Zion? And then the Giants draft Daniel Jones. And now the Jets fire their GM, after free agency, after the draft. Like, okay. And next thing I want to talk about is There was a report. There's a report that Dwayne Haskins, who was drafted 15th overall by the Washington Redskins, who I heard simply came out and did his thing at the rookie minicamp. He signed his contract, his rookie deal. I believe it was there's $2.1 million sitting in his bank account. And people are starting to kind of trip on him because apparently he went and bought himself a Bentley. And now all of a sudden you have some writer saying around the Redskin area saying, see, he's starting to feel himself already. He's starting to get that RG3 syndrome. He ain't thrown a pass yet, and already he going out and he buying a Bentley and yada, yada, yada. Now, before I get to stereotyping, so the fuck what? He bought a Bentley. Okay. He signed the contract. He has a little over $2 million in his bank account. And the kid just turned 22 years old. And he decided to go out and buy a Bentley. Wow. Really? You're going to criticize over that? Come on, man. Come on. Look, let me tell you something. If I had over $2 million in my account, what is one of the first purchases I'm going to buy? A car. Now, am I going to buy a Bentley? No, because that's not my car of choice to buy if I had that amount of money. Okay, I mean, what I would do come on now. If you're 22 years old and you got $2 million in your bank account, a little over $2 million, shit, if you 42 and you got a little over $2 million in your bank account, what are you going to do? I don't give a damn what nobody says. One of your first purchases is going to be a car. Doesn't have to be a brand spanking new car, but it's going to be newer than the one you got. Okay, period. It's going to be newer than the one that you already have. I mean, for real. So let's not trip on that. Me personally, if I had $2.1 million, I would buy a house, straight cash, and I would buy a new car. Okay, and that would not exceed $1 million because if I have $2.1 million, I'm not buying $1 million house. That's half my money. I'd maybe buy about anywhere from a $350,000 to a $500,000 house in that time frame, and I would buy a car and pay for that straight cash. I mean, so he bought a Bentley. Okay, so what? People just trip off of stupid stuff. And when I say stereotyping, I'm not saying that, boy, that is some black shit. I'm going to say that is some young shit. That's all. And like I said, honestly, it might be young because you got a Bentley. But if you have over $2 million in your account and one of your first purchases is a car, who wouldn't do that? I don't give a damn how old you are. I mean, come on now, people. Anyway. With that being said, where a buzzer, where a buzzer, where a buzzer. Oh, boy. As far as the life topic goes today, I'm going to keep it simple and I'm going to keep it sweet. I've kind of been in this mix as far as social media goes, as far as the effect that I think social media is having on the everyday people. One thing that I've really thought about, dissected, and kind of found out is that you have a lot of self-centered people on social media. Social media really shows a person's true colors as far as self-centeredness. And people's need for attention and need for acceptance from people who don't even matter. It's crazy. We post these statuses and we post these pictures and we just want it to be like. And if it's not, it's like people feel like a failure. And I'm like, why? It's like by people that you don't even really fuck with, that you don't even talk to on a regular basis. And then also, and not just necessarily social media, but technology in a whole. People lose their goddamn mind if you go out the house and you leave your phone. Think about when we were growing up. Won't nobody think about no damn phone in the car? Won't nobody thinking about having no damn phone in the car? And I know that's called evolution. No, it's called mind control. That's what it's called. I mean, straight up. I mean, in 1999, 20 years ago or 25 years ago in 1994, if you had a car phone, it was hooked into the center console, and you had the numbers, and you just dialed it out, and if you didn't, it was something that was probably seldomly used. If you didn't have one of those, were you panicking when you went out? No. Because 9 times out of 10, you knew where you were going. To me, honestly, the most convenient thing about a cell phone right now, at least when you're driving, is a GPS, just in case you're going somewhere you ain't never been before. But yet, just you look at how much technology has just runs our life. Parents don't even raise their kids anymore. Technology does. Real talk. When you think about it, parents don't raise their kids no more. Why? Because parents are too busy on a fucking cell phone. And what are the kids doing? Too busy on a fucking cell phone or a tablet. I'm being honest. Because the social media and this technology era that we're in now has grown ass adults, has people's priorities all fucked up, all messed up. You're more worried about yourself. You're more worried about how many thumbs up you getting or how many hearts you getting. People, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how people's priorities have changed drastically, all because of a little handheld device and a couple of websites that make us want to see how much people like us. You see, social media will show you people's insecurities and self-centeredness. And like I said, technology is raising our children now, not parents. Not parents. That's something that needs to be worked on. But anyway, it's your boy, Brandon Brevon Towns. This has been another episode of Sports Plus Life. Again, if you are a first-time listener, definitely don't hesitate to subscribe. I forgot to mention that at the beginning of the show, but definitely subscribe to your boy and become a part of the Sports Plus Life family. So I'll holler back at y'all later. I'm out. Peace.